So you're new to Benable, you've learned about how to get started with Benable, and now you want to learn how to rank and get your videos in trending. Well, I have the next steps for you. My name is Candace. If you haven't caught me from the previous video, I am a Hatha yoga teacher who uses Benable as another form of content creation on the Benable platform. We will be covering how to rank your lists in the trending tab. The way you can get a head start in observing how to get on the trending tab is simply look at the trending tab to see what's currently trending. And on these lists, you can get an idea about seeing what people have already done so far that you might also be interested in. You can click on their list, see the high engagement, look for the hearts, look for the comments to see what people are saying. Look to see how many items they may have in their list. Look at the way they've explained things in their descriptions for their list, but specifically under each header that they may have on their list. On the Discover tab, you will also see the different type of categories that are also typical to find on the platform. That does not mean that you only have to create lists that focus on these categories. Then that would mean you're not being true to yourself, you're not being authentic, and that's going to make you feel more discouraged before you even really get started and into the swing of things. So with that being said, you can follow the people who are interesting to you and look to see what their titles are and look to see how many lists they've created. When I look at creating a list, there is one specific thing that I use frequently if it's based on a category that I'm interested in. And when you create lists, yes, you're creating lists for the things that you love, but in addition to that, you want to think outside of yourself in helping others. And when you help others, you can answer their specific questions. If you know something very popular in the niche that you have or in the category of things that you like to do, let's think of beauty, for example. That's the first thing that comes to mind. I do try to not just give the typical things that you see people post online, but for example, a favorite product of mine that I love so far, the lip bar. I am guaranteed that the lip bar, for example, is not on the platform as a brand partner. But what I can share is a list that focuses on best lip balm for cold weather. Let's just say a person is curious to know how to keep their lips hydrated all season. Well, I could suggest the lip bar, specifically their prototype lip oil. I'm having it on right now. I literally feel like my lips are nourished throughout the day. I don't have to put on numerous applications without it feel like my lips are chappy, without it feeling like it's dry, without it feeling like I don't have anything at all, especially after I eat. So I could suggest that brand and add it to this particular list in order to answer a specific question that a person has related to the best products for chapped lips. And that product or that resource that I could use specifically to what people or the category or questions that they may be asking is Answer the Public. Answer the Public is a great resource to use when you want to answer people's specific questions. You can find the right keywords that people are using. You're talking in the language that people want to know. So, best moisturizer for lips. And we could see the exact verbiage that they're plugging into their search engines in order to answer those questions. And in that manner, you can answer those questions specifically because not only are you a trusted source, because you may or may not have your verified badge, but you've put a list together based on that person's question. For example, what is the best moisturizer for dry lips? Which is the best moisturizer for lips? Best moisturizer for lips when on Accutane. I know there's somebody out there that can answer that question. I know there's somebody out there that can answer that question. So if you know the answer to that, go ahead and put that list together. And over time, when traction starts coming through, you add a list, you add that item to that list to specifically answer that question, making it the title or making it a subtitle, putting in specific things related to those products that you know personally and or suggest that you would potentially use, because we always want to be honest, and plug that into that list for people to make a choice, and potentially you may get cash back on that item. So that is one example on how to leverage your product or your list suggestions for your Benable list. Now, there's another feature that just became available as of this year, which is another thing that I love a lot about Benable, because Benable just doesn't keep you guessing. Benable is here to help. Benable offers resources to help you put lists together. They give you examples, they give you descriptions, they tell you the pros and the cons of a good list versus a not so great list. They give you insights on how to improve your list with, I'm assuming they may have an AI bot that can, filter through determining if that list or that description you gave is kind of vague, or they want you to be more personable. They have the insights to plug back in, and they will use that feedback and place it in your insights and your tune up to help you know how to improve your list. In addition to that, here is the perk that I want to share if you haven't already. If you are a person who loves to read articles like me, they have recently started giving more data insights. If you can't tell already, I'm kind of on the nerdy, quirky side. I like analytics, I like numbers, I like reading things to know how to improve from a numerical standpoint. So, with that being said, Benable has a feature called Benable Labs on the Medium website. It's kind of like WordPress. If you aren't used to Medium, if Medium is new to you, it's kind of like a WordPress where you can add your blogs and articles and share information on whatever topics that you have. Benable Lab is new. Logan, hey Logan, is the head of the data science. So with that being said, they give you insights for micro creators, especially because Benable, once again, is looking outside of themselves, and they are wanting to have a community engaged platform where they want to help micro creators grow. Let's scale back real quick to the frequently asked questions. Who are you? Benable is a registered public benefit corporation, which means our mission is core to everything we do, and we are committed to driving a positive social impact. Well, what does that mean specifically? We launched Benable about a year ago, which should be like almost 2.5 now, with the goal of making it easier for people to help one another by sharing recommendations. Because of who they are, they're based in Washington, D.C., and they're committed to driving a positive social impact. But what I wanted to share is creators keep the whole commission. They promise their creators that they keep the whole commission. If you already have a partnership with the brand, you are welcome to use your own affiliate links. Beautiful. Beautiful. Benable's platform is for the creator in mind. That's one thing I like about Benable, is because I've said it multiple times, but they have created their site for the multi-passionate micro creators. So that means that you don't have to have a whole bunch of followers in order to get perks. You don't have to have a whole bunch of vanity metrics in order to get the visibility you desire in order to grow within your content creator journey. So for the UGC creators and content creators, if you want to take advantage of this platform, using Benable Labs as insights on how to leverage and rank your list to specifically get ahead or be above, and potentially even be so impactful that you're invited to one of their community events around the globe, and specifically nationwide in the US, you are able, I've seen so far at least 4 locations so far that they have started their events. And I hope to be invited to one of them soon too, because I really like the vibe that they're offering so far. Me along with my business bestie, Just Perfect Chaos on Benable, if you haven't. She's the one that introduced me to the platform, and it took me a minute to get on. So if you are that type of person that's hesitant and you don't want to get your hands dibble and dabble in a lot of stuff, and you don't feel like there's going to be a lot of return over time, Benable is a great start, especially for beginners. So shout out to Jessica. Thank you so much for getting me on the platform and seeing the benefits that can come behind it. So for those UGC creators and content creators, as well as those bloggers, people who use WordPress, people who use Medium, if you like to document things and invite people to read your articles, plug in your links that way, you can use the information from Benable, plug it in your WordPress, plug it in your Medium, and get more leads to your list. So here's a lead for 2025 so far that we can make or take an advantage of. Their holiday content creator. I said holiday content creator. Their holiday content calendar. Their holiday content calendar. And I zoomed in for us. So far, if you haven't started yet and you want a lead on trying to get a list that should be optimized and potentially get some cash back, you have some opportunities. You have Halloween coming up, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve, where they suggest list publishing dates. So that means that you're going to have to work ahead, but at least the earlier the better, so that it can start generating, getting people's eyes on those lists and moving ahead from there. That's a plus. We didn't have that last year. So I really, really, really enjoy seeing these articles come from Medium, and just a way to really get eyes. It has an unfair advantage technically on getting eyes on your list, but in an honest way, right? Because it's all about communication. It's all about authenticity. It's all about honesty and being a genuine individual. You don't want to just be that person who's behind a money grab. And essentially, Benable has a way of knowing that you're just there for the storefront and not really promoting honest reviews. Here's one more lead that I want to share on how to leverage your lists, your content, as well as making it easy for you to maneuver. Benable has this Chrome plugin. Take advantage of using the product. The plugin, you can have a list put together. You are on different websites. You want to link those lists, link those items to that list. Just plug in the Benable plugin, and that extension will lead that link already to that list. And then you can just keep popping them in wherever you need to. Super easy to use, very convenient. Now, as a quick insight to share the possibilities, I just discovered this today. As of 9 months ago, someone on Reddit posted that they've made a little over $200 US dollars specifically from 7 lists that they placed on Benable. Now, they don't go into details on the specifics of the list, but besides them saying that the list pretty much covered top equipment for YouTubers, as an example. And then they must have had a very good job putting the lists together and getting eyes on those lists for sure. In addition to that, your insights, you can take advantage of looking, and I'm hoping in the future that when Benable's developers get more creative with the platform, that they can have these recent views categorized in a way where you can see the peaks in what type of list the person is looking on from your personal list. I'm hoping in the future that that will be something that they can add for creators to visually see. I do know it takes a lot of time for developers to place things together. I've been a beta tester for a couple things as far as platform development, and I am a patient person. So I'm hoping that if Benable even lays eyes on this video here, they hear that recommendation, and let's see where it goes from there, so that it's easier for the creator to know what's popular. And what I mean by that is if you see what's popular, people are clicking on it, engagement is just crazy. You have at least 20 or so likes, or it's a very liked list, a lot of feedback from it. You can double down by creating the very same list, but more nuanced, more detailed. For example, I can go on my profile and I have 2 lists so far. One related to spring, one general for plants. So I'm a plant mom. I love my plants. I will eventually just be adding more. I'm just going to be honest to myself. I might as well stop. It's like being a kid in a candy store. So I can double down on those lists and see what people like and create something similar, just like in the list that I've created for yoga related topics. Is yoga right for you? Yoga for personal growth. Spend a wellness day in Savannah, Georgia as a yogi. Your space for all things yoga. Budget friendly yoga gear Walmart haul for those people who don't want to purchase a premium mat, or they are not ready to invest in a premium mat, or they just want something a little accessible just to get their feet started. You can double down on those lists based off the things that people like. And then, as a content creator or a business owner who create lists of things based on their niche, you can plug in those storefront recommendations as another lead to your product, to your website, or wherever else you want them or desire them to go. Sign up to whatever you have to offer. So sign up to your services or whatever you have to offer. So that's another way you can rank and leverage your list. Now here's a bonus. Another way, besides having your list optimized, that's the number one thing in order to get your list on the trending tab. Optimized lists are the green tags, the green badges on your list. That means that they are optimized and ready to be on the trending page. The trending page populates every 10 minutes, so you'll see something new about every 10 minutes. And you may be surprised, you may find one of your lists on the platform, on the trending page, by your surprise, just randomly scrolling. But one additional bonus that you really want to pay attention to is when you go back to your dashboard, those insights where you click on the wrapped and engagement score. Visibility is rewarded by people who genuinely engage, who makes their best efforts to engage, who likes, who maybe even to the extent of purchasing may get the visibility. Now the purchasing side, that's just a wild guess, but I know for sure guaranteed visibility, more reach comes from engaging with those lists, liking, sharing, saving, adding a comment, literally inviting conversation will boost visibility. And here's the final and the bonus that I wanted to share with you. It'll tell you your engagement score. It'll tell you what you need to work on for the next month. And then it shares with you how engaged you have been as far as the items in the list that you've created. It shares how long you've been on the platform, how many recommended lists you've added, what percentage of activity you have placed within the platform, how many lists are trending in the trending tab. So that already tells you, just let's stop right here for a second. If you know you have 25 lists that you currently created, you may have a couple that are unlisted or you haven't even gotten them started yet. They're sharing with you how many lists appear in the trending. So that means that you don't even have to guess how many, if your lists are even being shadow banned. I don't even think there's a such thing right now besides being an ugly person, a mean person, just sharing nasty things on the platform, or just being malicious in whatever way. They have features to tell if that's actually happening or not, where it's flagging you if you are not a very good community based individual. So that lets you know that your lists are not being limited. In addition to that, it also shares the interactions with your content. So that means that people are actually engaging with your content and how many lists that you've browsed and the lists that have been optimized within that last month. By the way, if you haven't already, I forgot to mention that Benable is very active on their Instagram and their TikTok, but I've noticed for sure on their Instagram, they are highly active. Stay tuned with their other community outreach events that they have going on. They love to do contests. I'm actually curious to see what their last one was. I happen to be one of their contest winners in one of their most recent contests that they had, I believe, at the beginning of this year. So I am looking forward to what else they have in store. In addition to that, follow their TikTok and make sure to follow their threads as well. They're very active with community engagement outside of Benable platform. So definitely keep an eye out on what they have going on in their stories on Instagram and maybe even TikTok. I'm not really on TikTok like that anymore. So if you want to learn on how to see what's happening in the latest news with Benable, definitely keep up in their stories because they always have that ring on highlight. So in the meantime, let's get back into the rest of the benefits on how to rank your list. That's how you leverage your list. That's how you get your list ranked. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, drop them down below. I'll be happy to help. And in the meantime, if you want to learn more on how, besides getting your list ranked, how to leverage your additional content, and with more details and more nuanced insights, you can check out this video here. It's a little older, but the news is still relevant till this day because I'm still doing it at the present moment. Now, all I ask is that you watch it all the way through, and the sound bites might be just a little pitchy. But if you can work through that, I highly appreciate you dropping in the comments. Let me know how you feel about creating your first list. And if you haven't already, please feel free to use my invite code 6B4W7 in order to get your list started today because the platform is still invite only. And if you want to skip the wait list, you can join by using my code 6B4W7. And can't wait to see you on the other side. Thanks for watching.